Welcome to the Earning Your Living by Living Your Dream show. Welcome, everybody. We do a weekly show, weekly video about entrepreneurship, but it's not only about entrepreneurship, it's about every little invisible pattern that can happen in any project, in any seed project, in any business. Today we're going to talk about invisible patterns, and they are the patterns of your desire. Ooh. Ooh. And most entrepreneurs, they're not aware of their patterns or their team's patterns, of who turned who off, or what excitement came and then some money movement came along. To a lot of entrepreneurs that they don't know what is actually happening. But today we're gonna tell you a little bit about that. Just like Cedriana's background there, where you can be, a person can be sometimes just a stick of wood, but we want to invite you to be like a tree, like Cedriana's background, where you grow branches, you grow leaves and fruits, and everybody wins because your family gets to eat, your employees' families get to eat, your team members, your team players too. So here we are. We're going to talk about a little bit about those patterns. Guys, what have you seen in your projects or also in companies? What have you seen that are like invisible patterns? Some patterns are from
mind.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Like in Tesla, right? I actually had an electric car, like a little Nissan Leaf on Hawaii. Before electric cars are really cool, and I thought, oh wow, I'm being environmentally friendly and no more gas. And the irony is, if you actually read the market, that's like ancient technology. It's old school, and right now it's like the biggest popular thing, right? Electric cars. So like when you're mentioning how to read the invisible patterns in a market, that was the first thing that popped into my head, which was Tesla, as incredible of a company as it can be, actually is not even close to being environmentally friendly, or let's say an actual solution. It's just causing another problem. So if you're able to see that, you would see hydrogen, right? Hydrogen is the next market. There's plenty of water and it doesn't produce any pollution or cause a bigger footprint in the environment. And actually, Australia has it going on. And I want to say, I think I read an article that said in 2040, the entire country will be running off of hydrogen. And so these steps that are in front of us, I mean, if you take the time to research or just use your instinct, these patterns are recognizable. So how does this apply to entrepreneurship, doing what you love? Like what you mentioned, Mariana, first you got to read your team. First you got to read your family and relationships. If you can read those, then you probably can read what's out there. But if you can't read what's going on in your own home, ouch, right?
Oh, yeah.
But back to the electric car. It's such a great, let's say, symbol of what happens. Everyone gets caught on the wave of what's popular right now, but forgetting to see what's ahead. And entrepreneurship is that ability to see the turn before the turn happens, or the expansion before most people see it, because everyone's in the now, instant gratification. We all know that falls short. It's if you really want to do something great and be a part of an important movement or important business venture or project with incredible team players, you have to be able to read what's ahead of you.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And in the book, in the Earning Your Living book, it says your financial freedom depends on your ability to see patterns that are invisible to others. So yeah, Kia is saying is those invisible patterns. I mean, all of a sudden somebody does see that hydrogen opportunity. I mean, got to take that opportunity, or whatever you see in your projects or in your industry.
Yeah, that's a huge one, Kia. And that reminds me of another huge one, which is very dear to my heart because it's with one of my projects of the whole water bottle consumption and how like billions of water bottles are just thrown away every day.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, how can we not see that this is just going to pile up? You know, so that's another example of just this billion-dollar industry, you know, that's just seen right now, but not in the future.
The instant gratification.
Yep, instant gratification.
That's actually, you know, that's one of the
wrong
things
with
that
that.
you, that's right.
But you know, but we got to look ahead, right? Go ahead, Bruce.
I was going to say that's actually one of the things a lot of people who are new to entrepreneurship, you know, these are the, once your business is built up, these are the things that not only just you see, but the whole world starts to see these patterns. But you know, what I noticed is starting in small projects, that's a great way to find out, is this something I actually want to invest my time into? Because I've had projects where we work and you get people together with a great idea and you start to do it. And then maybe it doesn't happen the right way, or all of a sudden it becomes hard work and everyone's like, this isn't fun. And imagine if you invested thousands of dollars in a business only to find out this isn't any fun. I don't want to do this. And people often do that.
And then they have to stay in that project because of all the investment they have.
Yeah, they get stuck in it. And when we're talking patterns, how can that be applied here and now to what you're, when you're starting a project, is if it's easy and it flows naturally, there's a better chance you're going to enjoy it. And that's something that makes the success. You know, it's, what was that? What did you say earlier, Cedric? I think you had told this to me out another day about success. You had said something about success.
Oh, that quote from success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. If we enjoy what we're doing, the success will follow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
That's
that.
what these projects, pilot projects are.
Have you guys seen Matt's invisible pattern on his shirt there?
I love that shirt, Nat.
Some invisible patterns there. We got to see them.
Right.
So yeah, we're talking about all kinds of invisible patterns. If one can see where the enthusiasm of the project goes down, because you can see it, you can sense it. Then we have these amazing tools to keep the team spirit up so that it doesn't go down.
You did that the other day, Mariana, when we went out to the park to interview people.
Yeah.
And we talked to that one guy with the books on his head, and you
Oh, yeah.
noticed me, you know, squat down at one point during the conversation.
Yeah.
It's hard to kind of notice your own energy, and that's why I love having you as a partner, because you pay attention to that. And we know as this group how to have good team meetings and how to recap different projects or episodes that we've done to review, okay, where did the energy go up? Where did it go down?
Yeah. Yeah. And we have that procedure of, okay, what worked and what didn't work. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good.
So pick great partners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Mariana.
Yeah.
Yeah. Partners are great to check out too. Like, okay, does this partner work? Does this other not work? What does it need? But without working too hard at it, you just speak out what worked, what didn't work, and then you see if your team players are gonna play with more clarity next time, or more precise the next time, or with more enthusiasm the next time. It's not about fixing them or fixing a problem. It's just about inviting them to bring some more enthusiasm, to bring it,
Bring it.
just bring it.
It sounds to me like what we're talking about here is the pattern of pleasure. And you might think about it and say, how can you see a pattern of pleasure? But if you walk into any environment, an office, any place where there's people, you can tell, are these people happy? Do these people have energy, or are they down and low? And, I mean, there are patterns there to see. So the more you're in that pleasure, the more you're going to attract people who are also in their pleasure, and those seeds grow into trees, like Sadriana is showing us there. And they said money doesn't grow on trees.
That's true.
Money, there's money on this tree.
We are the trees.
There you go.
We are the world.
We are the trees,
Children.
and the clouds and the palm trees too.
Yeah. Today, I went to one of those places where they do the eyebrows, right?
Mhm.
And the nails and stuff. Well, the receptionist, she was in a bad mood. It was bad. It was like in a kind of guilt, kind of the place is full and she's going to feel bad. She immediately put like a label on me that I maybe was going to get mad because the place was so full and they couldn't attend me that second that I walked in.
Mhm.
I noticed it. I noticed her mood of guilt. But I immediately said, "Oh, cool. All right, 15 minutes is fine. It's fine." Now I brought the energy,
Mhm.
but in a company or in a retail store, they gotta bring the energy, or else somebody else that is not so trained like us to just yield and go with what is happening, and maybe they bring the energy even down further than guilt. So then the lady, another lady calls me from all the way in the back there, and she goes something like this. Like, instead of coming to all the way to the front to get me and to to treat me like a customer, right? And this is in the Galleria area here in Houston. It's a nice area, and the service just wasn't that. See, I saw a lot of invisible patterns, like the guilt of that receptionist. She passed it on to all the other ladies that were there already attending the other. I could see it. It was trickling down that way. And all the employees just looked at me to see if I was going to take it personal, that I wasn't going to be given a service right away. Anyway, the other lady, when finally one of them finished, she calls me from all the way back there and she goes,
You're like,
I'm like, okay. Yeah, I played with it. I did. I went, me? She's like, okay. So then I go back there in that little private room where they do the eyebrows and stuff. And guess what? She treats me so well. Like, like so nice and so absolutely wonderful that I just wanted to stay there with my eyes closed, like forever. So I will go back to that place, but I'll ask for her specifically for the eyebrow thing. But all these little invisible patterns, if the owner could know about them, I gotta call her.
Mhm.
Team and coaching.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, they might not come back because
Mm.
they felt that guilt of everybody. Um, that part just doesn't work. Somebody just doesn't want to come back to it. Those are the invisible patterns that
Mhm.
some owners might think, well, it's normal. Of course, they feel bad, but that guilt has got to be coached out of a team so that it doesn't bog down the clients. Any other example that you guys may have seen? Any other invisible pattern that that you may have seen, maybe also in your corporate jobs, or that you had before, or anything?
Well, I definitely one of the last jobs I've had a few years ago was a part-time cashier at the tamale. Ooh, did I? Ooh, too late.
At the hot tamale.
Yeah, at the hot tamale place.
Uh-huh.
Well, I absolutely adored the family who ran the business, but then and when I started, there was this one manager, the sister, who wasn't there, but then she comes about after a month or two after I'd been there, and oh boy, I pretty much quit the job because of that energy. And so did some other people.
Because she was very negative, or
Yeah, just very harsh, very harsh.
Mm.
And of course, I just in that short time that I was there, I saw employees come and go, and that's really, detrimental to a business to have to always be trying to find new people and training them. And
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, it's work mode. They work
Mhm.
at it. They work at it.
Mm.
The rotation is a high rotation of employees.
Yeah,
a lot
and
of
the
work.
sales go down, and then the managers put on more pressure to work faster, and
Yeah.
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah, and there was definitely pressure there with her, Matt. I'm like, adios.
Bye. They lost Cedriana. They lost an amazing player. They lost the sweetness in that place. I bet you they lost money because Cedriana wasn't there anymore. You know? Yeah. Any other example as we speak about these example? Invisible patterns. We're talking about invisible patterns today.
they usually come from the boss and trickle down. Can we say that?
What's
Usually,
that joke?
but also Matt, from the moods of the team.
Mhm.
If the boss doesn't see, hey, there's a mood,
Yeah,
then everybody loses. But you're right. It usually comes from the leader. Something comes from the leader, usually. But the
Usually.
other times, usually, they come from the team players too. I saw that a lot at Dell when I used to work there. A lot of people had they had the attention on themselves, on what they wanted to do. It was quite brutal. but somebody had to tell them something, but they didn't have the structure. I didn't know these tools yet. Yeah. Yeah. There was one of the managers there. He fired one of the guys because one of the guys was gossiping, and was gossiping something that was not true about another manager. So that guy that was gossiping got fired. But they were going to also fire whoever hung out with him. And there were like 2 or 3 people that were like, oh my gosh, let me get fired. It was a big drama day that day. But anyway, they fired this one guy. The others didn't get fired, but still for several days or weeks, they were like, oh my gosh. So the guy that was gossiping, of course, had to get fired. Good. That kind of energy is not needed. All that gossip is really heavy. And I'm surprised, a guy, usually it's the women. but
I know, right?
the guy got fired, and but they didn't fire him in a way that, hey, thanks for playing, go play for another team. Like that scene in Moneyball, I think, movie, where
Yeah.
they say, or Miracle, they say, thank you for playing, you're a great player, but this other team needs you, and go play over there. But no, they fired this guy really like harsh. So anyway, all of those invisible patterns we can see in all these projects and companies and big companies and medium-sized companies and retail stores. All of those guys out there, we're inviting everyone to see them and to see the patterns of desire in your heart too. How do you want your team spirit in your project? How do you want it to be? If you have any questions about how to do it, for example, how to keep that team spirit up, how to create feedback loops between your team members and you, how to do acknowledgement rounds. We did an acknowledgement round before we had our video here today, and we get connected, we get situated, the pressure from outside goes away, and we huddle and we connect as a team. Those kinds of rounds of acknowledgements, they're needed in every single company out there. So whoever would like to know how to do them, contact us. You have our contact information in the comments there, and we will see you next week for another Earning Your Living by Living Your Dream show. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.